Part 106. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1051. Fellow Daoist Shen, look. Hearing Zuyun speak, Shen Nan followed his finger and looked over. When he saw that the entire first floor of the restaurant was empty, he was surprised and subconsciously said, "Strange, where are the people?" "Yeah, where are the people?" Zuyun asked back. He did not use spiritual consciousness, but the perception ability of the soul. Not to mention the first floor, even the entire restaurant was devoid of life. "Friend Equator, please sit down first and I'll go take a look." Shen Nan felt a little sorry. This friend from Chi Dao didn't have the arrogance of the peak of the late nascent soul, and he invited him to drink so generously. It was impossible for him to let him go. After saying that, he stood up and walked towards the counter. Having been to White Tiger City, he knew that the demon cultivators here were lawless. If you touch others with your spiritual consciousness, it is very likely to anger the demon cultivator. Of course, it is also possible that the other party is deliberately provoking. Zuyun was also careful in everything, so he didn't use his spiritual sense. Naturally, Shen Nan didn't need to say anything. After walking around on the first floor of the restaurant, even the chef left, but still no one was seen. Returning to the table, Shen Nan smiled bitterly and said, "Friend Chideo, let's go. This Behu City wine, it seems that it's no blessing to enjoy it. When we return to the true spiritual realm, Shen, and you will not return until we are drunk." Zuyun smiled and said, "Drinking is a trivial matter. I'm just afraid of whether we can leave." "What do you mean by this?" Hearing Zuyun's words, Shen Nan was shocked for no reason, but when he saw the other party smiling, he couldn't help but feel suspicious, and he couldn't understand the meaning of Zuyun's move. "You said before that the last time you came to White Tiger City, you saw a fellow Taoist being beaten to death by a demon cultivator. Not to mention whether he touched the demon cultivator's heel. Even if he didn't, the other party might have hundreds of reasons. In short, according to Kai's opinion, instead of going out, it's better to sit here and see what tricks these demon cultivators are going to play." Shen Nan was shocked. "What do you mean by fellow Chi Dao? These demon cultivators also want to attack us? But they open a restaurant. What happened to the restaurant owner?" Zuyun raised his eyebrows and said, "These demon cultivators look down on our human race and want to bully us, but also want to find some high-sounding reasons. From what I can see, they are deliberately not entertaining and let us leave on our own. Guess, will they find any reason to attack us when we leave?" This. Shen Nan hesitated for a moment, but he couldn't help but think in his mind that if he were in the true spirit realm and encountered this situation when he went out to drink, he would either bang the table and call someone, or get up and leave. If it is true as what friend Edeo said, will the other person who slaps the table say that it broke the table? Will they be stopped when leaving and accused of stealing something from the restaurant? Based on his understanding of demon cultivators over the past 1,000 years, it's really possible. For a moment, Shen Nan regretted following Zuyun to the restaurant. Before coming to the White Tiger realm, he warned himself over and over again to minimize contact with demon cultivators, so when he saw Zuyun alone, he thought of someone to take care of him. Who would have thought that Zuyun would invite him to drink and enter this restaurant? Of course, Shen Nan did not blame Zuyun for causing this incident. He was still sober and knew that it would be useless to blame Zuyun. It was better for the two of them to stick together so that if the demon cultivator really got into trouble, the two of them could rely on each other. Those who are not of my race must have different minds. But if you meet the same kind in this strange environment, it is better than meeting an old friend in a foreign land. Shen Nan saw the situation clearly in a moment, and simply sat back to his original position and said, "Friend Edeo, how about we wait here?" Zuyun asked again, "What else? Let's treat the people in this restaurant as enemies for the time being." That means if the enemy can't move, I won't move. That's fine, but it's just a pity that if we miss the last pilgrimage today, we have to wait until tomorrow. If we can get out safely, we won't wander around White Tiger City. We should choose an auspicious time as soon as possible. After the pilgrimage, we will retrieve the elixir and leave White Tiger territory. Zuyun did not take Shen Nan's words too seriously. Instead, he was more interested in the pilgrimage to White Tiger City. The Liwo immortal lord of the southern mortal realm uses Liwo spells and Liwo techniques on almost all monks. The purpose is to make everyone's Liwo power available to him when he needs it. When not in use, it can help him practice the fire living evil skill. Through Li Tianhuo's memory, Zuyun actually had some deep fears about this evil power. By using the skills, you can use the power cultivated by everyone for your own use. Although the power provided by each person is very small, it cannot hold up thousands of monks. Gather sand to form a tower, accumulate a little to make a lot. It's also really scary. And what is the significance of the existence of White Tiger City in this Western mortal realm? Could it be that this is also the place of faith in this mortal world? At the end of his mind, Zuyun remembered that when he fired the vermilion bird fist, at that moment all the nascent soul cultivators knelt down and worshipped him devoutly, calling him the divine beast envoy. If you really want to say it, being able to do this is thanks to immortal Liwo. Liwo immortal lord spent countless years making the Suzaku mythical beast deeply rooted in the hearts of the people, and it became the belief of all the monks who practiced Liwo. So, was White Tiger City built by someone with such a purpose? No, that's not right. Zuyun quickly rejected this idea. If it is a similar evil skill, it will definitely make the human race and demon cultivators live in harmony, and then they can continue to practice with peace of mind. The southern world is peaceful. Although the Liwo sect is the only one in power, it is at least not as overbearing as the Liu Yun sect in the northern Fan realm. The elders of the clan even want to kill all the demon cultivators in the Demon Sea realm. Not only that, they also forbid the 10,000 races of ice demons in the ice demon realm from entering the Fanyang realm. There are too many evil ways, so let's wait and see. Anyway, the meaning of my coming to the Western Fan realm is to practice the White Tiger Fist. Of course, if possible, I can also solve the danger of the human race. And the danger of the human race is this White Tiger City, just kill two birds with one stone. Thinking of this, Zuyun's heart calmed down. Friend Chi-Dao, it's getting dark. At this time, Shen Nan suddenly spoke, and Zuyun looked at the gate. It was indeed much darker. He also knew that Shen Nan was reminding him that something might happen after dark. Wait. Zuyun had made up his mind, and simply replied with 2 words, and then closed his eyes to rest. But his soul never relaxed for a moment, always paying attention to the movements of the entire restaurant. Shen Nan did not dare to disturb Zuyun, so he had to follow Zuyun and close his eyes in dismay, but he was restless, frowning and taking deep breaths. Not far away. Across the street. In a restaurant with similar decorations. 2 demon kings stood by the window, their eyes pointed directly at the restaurant where Zuyun and the others were. It's strange, these 2 human Yuanyings can keep their composure. It's been 4 hours, and there's no movement at all. A demon king frowned and said. Another demon king asked, could they have used some escape spell to leave? Impossible, the demon king shook his head, although they didn't release any spiritual consciousness, they also didn't have any spiritual power flowing out, so it's impossible for them to leave. We have wasted a lot of time here. If we don't get rid of these 2 people, today's mission will not be completed. If the higher UPS blame us, we can't afford it. What should we do? Kill them directly. Didn't they move? Then we'll let them move. As long as we find a flaw, we can find out the crime. No one will be able to say anything then. That's the only way. We're not afraid of them moving, but we're afraid that they won't move for several hours. The two of them retracted their bodies from the window, and soon walked through the lobby of the restaurant, crossed the street, and came to the restaurant. I'm so sorry, you two, I forgot about you. As soon as he entered the door, one of the Demon Kings greeted Zuyun with a smile, his tone full of apology. Zuyun opened his eyes, smiled slightly, and said, "You are too polite, Demon King. It is quiet here. We are tired from traveling for days. Your restaurant is considerate and we are very satisfied." As long as you are satisfied, the Demon King's eyes flashed with a fierce light. He thought that if he lowered his posture, the two would take the opportunity to blame him, so that he could also provoke a conflict. Who would have thought that Zuyun didn't care at all, which made all the words he had prepared in his mind useless. As long as you are satisfied, by the way, do you two guests want to eat or stay in the hotel? Zuyun smiled slightly and said playfully, "If you want us to stay in the hotel, we will stay in the hotel. If you want us to eat, we can eat. We can do it." Throwing the question back, the Demon King was speechless. The Demon King's mind turned rapidly, and after a while he said, "Can you tell me whether you are here for pilgrimage or for fun?" Zuyun smiled even more. "If you want me to go on a pilgrimage, then I will go on a pilgrimage. If you want us to have fun, then we will have fun. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills." Author, Banzhuan Xianxia. Chapter 1052. What do you mean, fellow deist? This White Tiger City is a place of pilgrimage. From what you said, I will force you. The Demon King finally understood what Zuyun meant. After two consecutive questions, the answers were the same. From this, it can be seen that the thoughts of his people were seen through by the person in front of him. If it is not forced, then we will leave now. I wonder if the Demon King will stop us. Zuyun went straight to the point, which was equivalent to forcing the Demon King to answer. It is not easy for us to open a shop and do business. Fellow deist, please don't misunderstand us, otherwise, we can't open it in White Tiger City. The Demon King's eyes were shining, but Zuyun naturally didn't believe their nonsense. He chuckled and said, "To be honest, Demon King, you don't have to hide it. If you want to keep us, just say it directly, so as not to waste your thoughts here. If I can leave, I will leave. If I can't leave." Zuyun simply stood up, supported the table with both hands, leaned forward, and looked directly at the Demon King. "You." The Demon King was startled. He wanted to attack Zuyun, but if there was no suitable reason, he was afraid that it would be difficult to explain. The superiors had ordered several times that if the human race was killed for no reason, it might make the human race, which had a tendency to unite, more likely to point the spearhead at their demon race. Once the public anger was aroused, it was very likely that the human cultivators would rush into the White Tiger City regardless of everything. Although the human race was suppressed by them, the progress of cultivation was very slow, and the individual strength was far inferior to that of the demon race. The advantage was that the human race was endless. This was something they had never expected. When cultivation became a difficult thing, it was inevitable that some cultivators would leave offspring to carry on the family line, and reproduce from generation to generation. In contrast, although there were many demon cultivators, there were thousands of people who could reach the Demon King realm in the entire White Tiger realm. But the human race, how many tens of millions? And the human race had unique abilities and a strong ability to survive, and they would always survive in desperate situations. It's not that they don't want to destroy the human race and let the demon race control the mortal world. But the spiritual world is mostly dominated by the human race. If they provoke the anger of the powerful human race in the spiritual world, I'm afraid that their demon race will be wiped out in the end. Under such circumstances, they can only suppress the human race as much as possible and slow down their overall cultivation speed. After years of management by the Lord of the White Tiger City, the Western mortal world has entered a relatively stable mortal world. The demon race has steadily surpassed the human race, and the human race dares not resist. As for this so-called pilgrimage, it was also created by the Lord of the White Tiger City. One of the purposes is to trample on the dignity of the human race. If you want to get the top resources for cultivation, you have to go to the White Tiger City to kneel down and worship the totem. Secondly, they need the essence and blood of the human race, so they will find some reasons to deliberately provoke, then kill people, and finally obtain the essence and blood to hand over. The bad roots of the human race are also reflected. It has become the 8-character mantra believed by all human beings to be non-involved and hang up. As long as they can find a reason, no matter how ridiculous it is, they don't need to explain too much, the human cultivators will convince themselves. But the two demon kings didn't expect that Zuyun would not only not be persuaded by soft or hard tactics, but also go straight to the point and throw the decision of whether to take action to them. How dare he? The demon king took a deep breath and dodged a little under Zuyun's burning gaze. On the contrary, the demon king next to him stepped forward and slammed the table and said angrily, "Human, you dare to make trouble in my restaurant." He was the waiter who greeted Zuyun and the others before. From the beginning to the end, his attitude was extremely bad, and it was also to provoke Zuyun to take action first. Whether it was beating people or destroying the table, they had legitimate reasons to fight back. Even if they were beheaded in public and attracted other human cultivators to watch, they could loudly declare the crimes of the two. Demon cultivators are so domineering that no one dares to ask or speak. Of course, this is also the rule in Behu City. Humans cannot take action, and demons cannot take action either. But if one side takes action, the other side can fight back. Therefore, the two demon kings have no way to deal with Zuyun's problem. That's why the waiter couldn't hold back and shouted angrily. "Really? Which eye of yours saw me making trouble?" Zuyun chuckled, "You spoke loudly, and you slammed the table. Did you see what I did?" This made the waiter demon king speechless. "You are still a little naive to fight me." After several conversations, Zuyun had already confirmed that what Shen Nan had told him that he had seen with his own eyes must be true. After so many years, these demon cultivators still use clumsy tricks. But Zuyun didn't know their real purpose, and thought that the demon cultivators had turned oppression of the human race into instinct. But there is one more thing. When entering the city, the demon cultivator guards guarding the door did not look at them seriously. He couldn't guess that everything was asked by Behu City for them to kill. What they want is the essence and blood of the human race. Zuyun did not shy away from wanting to provoke the other party to see how long they could endure. He also specifically asked Shen Nan if there was a situation where a demon cultivator took action first, and Shen Nan said he had never seen it. After another test, Zuyun's guess had become true. Self-defense does not count as action. "Daiyu, you are not welcome here, you should leave." Another demon king, forcibly suppressed his anger, pointed to the door, and asked Zuyun to leave. Who would have thought that Zuyun would do the opposite, sit down without any hesitation, and even cross his legs, saying with a cynical look, "We ordered food and wine, but none of you came. Why are you driving us away? Are you discriminating against us humans?" Through the word pilgrimage, Zuyun could guess that on the surface, White Tiger City treats humans and monsters alike. I think that no matter where the pilgrim is, he would not dare to offend the world. Regarding the human heart, Zuyun has experienced so much of the three mortal and spiritual realms. Sure enough, as soon as the word discrimination came out, the expressions of the two demon kings suddenly changed. This word was only circulated among the demon kings, and no one dared to say it in public. It is true that they all look down on the human race, and they kneel down on the pilgrimage square for the magic elixir, worshipping their demon totem. But everyone knows that once these two words are spoken from their mouths, they will die. The Lord of White Tiger City will not allow this situation to happen. However, Zuyun took off his hat. Veins popped out on the Demon King's forehead. When it comes to fighting, he is definitely not afraid of two people. But unfortunately, this is the most difficult person Zuyun has encountered. At this moment, he started to regret the rules of the Lord of White Tiger City. He didn't expect it to be so far-reaching, and he asked them to kill people, and he asked them to find a suitable reason. If they can't kill anyone or get blood, they will be punished. It can range from a broken limb to death. But if they break the rules and kill people, they will also receive the same punishment. It is even more serious than having to deal with someone who cannot be killed. For example, he was beheaded in public in the pilgrimage square and then hung at the city gate as a mark of respect. Everyone knows that this is a way to win the hearts of the human race. Only in this way will those human races feel that White Tiger City is a safe place. Only then will they be delivered to your door in a steady stream. Sorry, we were negligent. The Demon King gave in, but he would not give in. Since the other party won't leave, then just don't leave. Bring all our good wine and food, he said to Xiao Demon King. Good. The waiter gritted his teeth and had no choice but to do as he was told. Soon, the dishes were served and the wine came. I have to say, this dish is strong enough and this wine is fragrant enough. Zuyun laughed and said to Shen Nan, who was frowning, fellow Daoist Shen, why don't you eat? Shen Nan looked confused, but didn't know how to respond. Zuyun saw his thoughts and said, don't worry, they don't dare to poison. The word dare was like two slaps on their faces, with a crackling sound. The eyes of the two demon kings seemed to be bursting with anger, but there was nothing they could do. We won't disturb you two anymore. If you have any orders, just call us later. The demon king dragged the waiter into the kitchen. Don't worry, didn't you see what kind of bar I served them? The waiter's expression changed and he said, Tiger Demon Brew. That's right, Demon King Jaja smiled, Tiger Demon Brewing. If they can't pay the money later, I think they can still be so contented. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1053. This wine is good. Zuyun Hui makes wine, and just by the aroma of the wine, you can smell the extraordinary quality of this wine. I just heard it was like Tiger Demon Brewing. Shen Nan said worriedly. Tiger Demon Brew? It smells like tiger bones, but it's not brewed with tiger bones. Zuyun didn't care. Instead, he took a sip and savored the feeling of the spirit wine in his mouth. Gentle and moist, with a faint aura of evil. But this demonic energy has obviously been harmonized and will not conflict with the transformed wood spirit power in his body. Friend Chideo, please don't try this wine. We should think about how to pay for the spirit stones later. I heard that this Tiger Demon Brewing is extremely valuable. Generally speaking, a restaurant of this size may take a month. There's only one altar. Zuyun was stunned, then smiled, and said, are you afraid that if I can't afford the spiritual stone, the other party will take action because of it? I still have spiritual stones, which is enough to pay for the drink. However, it is only more than 10,000 yuan. Zuyun has also learned a lesson since he suffered from insufficient spiritual stones several times in the East Mortal realm. Yes, friend Chideo, you have also seen that these two people have bad intentions, but they just don't know what they are afraid of and dare not take action without reason. Shen Nan couldn't help but tremble a little, which meant that he was starting to be afraid. Zuyun found it funny, so he joked, what are you afraid of? Wine makes people bold, but you won't be afraid after drinking it. Besides, I want this wine too. Even if he wants the spirit stone, he wants it from me. It's none of your business. However, Shen Nan did not take it as a joke. He stood up and said seriously, "Friend Chideo, let's come in together. If they are looking for trouble, how can I stand by and watch?" Afraid of returning, he actually understood that the two demon kings had bad intentions and naturally could not let him leave safely. "Then you drink. After drinking this cup, there are 3 more cups left." Zuyun disapproved, filled Shen Nan's wine cup with a smile, and then pushed it in front of him. Seeing Zuyun being so calm, Shen Nan had no choice but to sit down, gritted his teeth, picked up the wine cup and drank it all in one gulp. "Don't drink like this, it's a waste of this fine wine," Zuyun said with a smile. "We drink slowly, they are the ones who are anxious. Maybe they will make mistakes in their haste." Shen Nan smiled bitterly and said, "Friend Qi, you are the monk who has been practicing for more than 1,000 years. I have seen the best monk in the state of mind. I feel inferior to you." Zuyun secretly thought that it wasn't because he was in a good mood, but because he hadn't taken any notice of these two demon kings. "The only thing I'm worried about is the mastermind behind this. It is very likely that he is the Lord of White Tiger City." But before going on a pilgrimage, Zuyun couldn't confirm it for a while. It was just a guess. After 30 years of drinking, the two of them were almost drunk. Just as Zuyun said, drunkenness makes people bold. Shen Nan said more than once that if a fight really broke out, it would be a life and death battle with Beihu City, which would make life difficult for them. Zuyun smiled and walked to the lobby counter without speaking. At this time, the sky was completely dark, and the last time of today's pilgrimage had passed. "How many spirit stones?" Zuyun looked at the two demon kings who had already returned to the cabinet and asked calmly. "He," the monster king laughed twice and said, "A jar of the best tiger demon brew. The rest of the dishes are included as bonuses. 1, 10,000 spirit stones." Zuyun guessed that they would be aggressive, but he never thought that they would offer such a high price. As for Shen Nan behind him, he even cursed loudly and said, "Although the tiger demon brew is rare, your 10,000 spirit stones are too much, right? Do you really think that our human race is easy to bully?" The waiter sneered and pointed at a sign on the wall and said, "The price is clearly marked, but you didn't read it yourself. Who's to blame? Besides, you just said you would serve wine, but you didn't say what kind of wine you would serve." Shen Nan looked at the waiter's fingers, and his expression suddenly changed. 10,000 spirit stones. Even though he is a late-stage nascent soul cultivator, with most of the resources in the entire Western mortal realm concentrated in White Tiger City, they simply do not have such wealth. Poorer than any other monk in the mortal realm. This is one of the reasons why the two demon kings are so calm. There are many human monks in the true spirit realm who can produce 10,000 spirit stones. But anyone with such a net worth would not come to White Tiger City in person. Therefore, they expected that Zuyun and the two would not be able to come up with it. In this case, they can use this as an excuse to attack them. Zuyun raised his eyebrows. He still had tens of thousands of spirit stones on him, but he did not take them out directly. Instead, he said lightly, "If I don't need spirit stones, can I replace them with other things of corresponding value?" If the price of goods in the West mortal realm is extremely high, he doesn't mind using pills or the like to deliver it. After all, he has the elixir and the spirit stone left on him, which can be used to set up formations in case of emergencies. The shopkeeper glanced at Zuyun with disdain and said disdainfully, "It's not that I look down on you. If you could bring something valuable, would you still come to our White Tiger City?" Zuyun laughed and said, "Don't worry about whether I have it or not. Just tell me if you can. Of course it's possible, but if we don't pay with spirit stones, we need treasure appraisers from White Tiger City to come and pay the price, and we'll also need to charge a certain appraisal fee. These are all trivial matters." Zuyun smiled and said to Shen Nan, "Go sit there for a while and leave it to me to handle." Shen Nan raised his face, and after hearing Zhu Yun's previous words, he thought Zhu Yun no longer wanted to give the spirit stone. That's 10,000, an astronomical number. People in the true spirit realm can only take it with a palm, right? So he said sharply, "Friend Chi Deo, I will watch here, they don't dare to do anything to you." Zhu Yun smiled and said, "You drank too much, go and refine the power of the wine." Shen Nan still wanted to refuse, but when he saw Zhu Yun blinking at him, he suddenly realized, "Friend Chi Deo, this is... Do you mean to let him take action later?" He didn't know how this tiger demon brew was brewed. It was so strong that it really made him a little confused. "Okay, friend Chi Deo, if you want anything, just call me Shen." After saying that, Shen Nan walked to his original position, picked up the chopsticks, and rummaged through the dish for some minced meat scraps. Zhu Yun then looked directly at the two demon kings and proudly took out a porcelain bottle. "Golden marrow pill. Let's see the treasure appraiser. How much does this elixir cost? Is it enough to pay for the wine?" The waiter was disdainful and reached out to grab the porcelain bottle. At the same time, he sneered, "The best elixir recipes of your human race have been lost long ago. Where can you refine valuable elixirs?" When he finished speaking, he happened to open the cork on the bottle. Immediately, a flash of golden light suddenly flashed across, followed by a faint scent of medicine, which went straight into the nostrils of the two demon kings. "This is a body refining elixir." The expressions of both of them changed drastically. Originally, they thought they were sure of Zhu Yun. As long as Zhu Yun showed any sign of not being able to pay for the drinks, they would take action immediately. But he didn't expect that he actually took out the best elixir. This is impossible. Aren't all the human race's pill prescriptions destroyed under the conspiracies of the city lord? It is precisely because of this that they, the demon clan, took advantage of all the human monks. Unless you have a special talent, you don't need any pills to practice. Whenever you need a better pill to break through the shackles, you need to come to White Tiger City. They know the goods. Just the scent of the medicine made them feel extremely comfortable all over, and their skin, flesh, bones, and blood began to tremble a little. If it weren't for the photo beads planted by the city lords in these restaurants, which would record what happened, otherwise they would definitely snatch the elixir directly and then kill people and silence them. "Go to Tianhu Pavilion and invite Master Tianhu over." The shopkeeper is always calmer. He turned to the waiter and said, "Brother, will Master Tianhu take a rest?" A flash of fear flashed in Xiao Er's eyes. This is business. He won't refuse even if he takes a rest, otherwise the city lord will blame him. Just say that a good body refining pill has appeared and he needs to identify it. "Okay, then Big Brother is waiting here. I'll come as soon as I go." The shopkeeper and the waiter were brothers. In order to complete the task, they opened a restaurant here. Of course, this is by no means a serious job. However, they need to be serious on the surface, otherwise they will not be able to cheat the human race. Their tasks will be extremely difficult to complete, and they will be punished. Even though they had scolded the city lord's rule countless times in their hearts, they had to erect an archway even when they were the cousin. But in order to cultivate to a higher level, they have no choice but to surrender. Just like some human monks, in order to continue practicing, they had to come to White Tiger City and sell their dignity. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1054. If you dare to lie to me, you two brothers will no longer survive in White Tiger City. In Tianhu Pavilion, there is a tiger demon king with two wings on his back. He is not angry, but he speaks in a domineering manner. Looking at the trembling demon king in front of him was like looking at an ant. "Master Tianhu, we brothers naturally don't dare to talk nonsense." When the little one opened the cork of the bottle of elixir, a golden light flashed, and then the fragrance of the medicine came out. We smelled it and felt very comfortable all over. The waiter told Master Tianhu exactly what happened after Zuyun took out the elixir. Humph! Master Tianhu breathed out from his nostrils, then put on a piece of clothing and said, "If you go out after dark, I will charge an extra 10% for treasure appraisal." Easy to say, 10% more is fine. The waiter watched with a smile as Master Tianhu slowly walked out of the house. At this time, the sky was as dark as ink. There are many human monks walking on the street, at least they are all in the elixir formation stage. Their expressions are different, but most of them are mixed with joy. Apparently the pilgrimage was over and they had received the elixir they had asked for. They suppressed their excitement and were afraid that they would accidentally bump into the demon cultivator on the street and cause trouble. "Get out of my way." The waiter stepped forward and shouted loudly to help Master Tianhu clear the way. Immediately, these monks were shocked and quickly fled from here. Tianhu Pavilion. The monks who come to White Tiger City have already done their homework in the true spirit world. Master Tianhu is one of the demon kings who is inferior to one person and superior to 10,000 people in Beihu City. No one dares to offend him. But who would have thought that when the waiter shouted and drove away the people, Master Tianhu did not take a step forward. Instead, he pointed in the direction in which they fled and said, "Look at these human monks, whether they are forming pills or yun, even if you are a baby, you have asked for the elixir from our demon clan and regard it as a treasure. So how can I believe you when you say that a human being has a good elixir?" The waiter was helpless. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes or opened the cork himself, he wouldn't have believed it. "Master Tianhu, I'm willing to use my head as a guarantee. It's really the best elixir. I don't dare to lie to you. Even in front of the city lord, I dare to say this." "I'm not doubting you," Master Tianhu said lightly, "I'm sorry you don't have the courage. I'm afraid that the human race used some trick to deceive me." Hearing this, the waiter was shocked and said quickly, "How dare these human beings? How dare they get it?" But as soon as he finished speaking, he secretly felt that something was wrong. The man who took out the elixir always looked calm, even calmer than the two brothers. Could it be? But Master Tianhu has been called out at this time. If he is allowed to go back again, he will inevitably be punished. This was not someone he could tease, so the waiter could only bite the bullet and swallowed the words that came to his lips, not daring to respond. "Let's go, is it true or not? It's not a bad thing to go and have a look. If the human race you mentioned really dared to come to our White Tiger City to provoke, I would just kill him, drain his blood, and then let the city lord take care of him. He hangs at the city gate as a sign of respect. White Tiger City has not done this for a long time, so it is inevitable that there are people who are eager to break our demon clan's rule over the mortal world." "Master is still thoughtful," the waiter echoed repeatedly. After a long time, they finally returned to the restaurant. "Master Tianhu, that person is right in front of my brother." Master Tianhu pushed the door open and immediately smelled a faint medicinal fragrance. His expression suddenly changed and he walked quickly to Zuyun. A porcelain vase was standing quietly on the counter. "I'm really sorry that I bothered Master Tianhu to come over so late." As soon as the shopkeeper said something humbly, he was slapped away by Master Tianhu. "Get away." This scene was an eye-opener for Zuyun. He thought that an ordinary alchemist would come and recognize the golden marrow pill, but he didn't expect that he would have such a bad temper. "But you want to see it, but I won't show it to you." Zuyun's hands were as fast as lightning, and he grabbed the porcelain bottle in his hands in the blink of an eye. Master Tianhu lost his hand, raised his head suddenly, and grabbed Zuyun's hand without saying a word. How dare a human ant steal what I want to see? But how did he know that Zuyun didn't have any sense of awe at all? He quietly dodged and dodged past easily. "What you want to see belongs to me. You can see it if you want. Have you asked me?" Zuyun threw the porcelain bottle in one hand, with a playful expression on his face. Master Tianhu was startled, and then he came to his senses. His face turned as dark as ink, and he said, "Since you want me to appraise the treasure, you must show me the elixir. Otherwise, how can you appraise it? Although he is strong, he is still controlled by the city lord. There are shadow beads in this restaurant, and he must abide by the rules of the city lord. It's all about appreciating treasures, but you yell and scream as soon as you come. I'm afraid you are not a master of appraising treasures." Zuyun continued to pick. This seemingly precious elixir was like a plaything in his hands. Over there, Shen Nan also held chopsticks in his hand, but did not move. His eyes were fixed on Master Tianhu. He had heard of the name. "I know he is an extremely strong character. In the true spirit realm, many monks who want to exchange for some cultivation resources will mention the name of Master Tianhu, saying that he has a bad temper, but he is very good at appraising treasures and will not make mistakes." He was just worried that Zuyun would suffer a loss. It can be seen that Zuyun's reaction did not take Master Tianhu seriously at all, and he was also sweating. At this time, his drunkenness had completely dissipated, and he was afraid, but he was already prepared that there was no way out. It was also because he didn't go on a pilgrimage and didn't get the so-called enlightenment pill, but he didn't feel reluctant to part with it. What a joke! Upon hearing Zuyun's question, Master Tianhu became furious, pointed at his face, and said, "Go outside on the street, find someone and ask, 'Who am I, Master Tianhu?'" Zuyun spread his hands and said, "How about you go and ask, 'Who is Qi?'" Hearing these ironic words, Master Tianhu couldn't help but exploded with anger. He almost yelled and said, "Who are you and what does it matter to me? Bring the elixir over quickly and let me taste it." He indeed has extraordinary vision, and he is also a rare demon king in the demon clan who understands the way of elixir. With only the little remaining power of the golden marrow elixir, he felt that what Xiao said was true, and even more so than he imagined before coming here. "It's countless times better, that's why I'm so eager and lose my composure." But who knew that the human race in front of him would actually use this to take advantage of him? You can't rob, you can't fight, you can't fight? What's more important is that this kid doesn't know his name. Zuyun laughed and said, "Who I am is none of your business." Then Qin Shi say, "Who are you is none of my business. Why should I show you the elixir? What if you by forcing me to take action in this White Tiger City, isn't that breaking the rules of White Tiger City? You." Master Tianhu choked on his words and couldn't answer Zuyun's words for a while. At this time, the shopkeeper Demon King hurriedly stepped forward, leaned into Master Tianhu's ear and said, "Master, this human race drank the tiger demon brew at the villain's place and couldn't get out the spirit stone, so he said to use the elixir. Compensation." Master Tianhu was stunned for a moment, and then said with a ferocious smile, "Good boy, it turns out you want to drink overlord wine. This tiger demon wine is the top wine in our White Tiger City. Be wise and transfer the elixir to me, and I will pay for it for you. I'll pay you 30,000 spiritual stones for the sake of 10,000 yuan. This is equivalent to valuing Zuyun's elixir. But this is not the result the two demon kings want. What they wanted to do was to attack Zuyun and then extract his blood essence to complete today's mission. If the other party can pay for the drinks, they have no reason to take action." For a moment, he was in a dilemma. I thought that even if Zuyun had the elixir, it would not be worth the price of the wine produced by Tiger Demon, but this. 40,000 spirit stones. What a big deal. Zuyun also smiled. The price was also greatly beyond his expectation. Originally, he just wanted to test the price of this elixir, so that he could prepare for what was to come. But 40,000 made him immediately change his plan. Boy, can such a generous act prove my identity? Since you don't want to test this pill, I might as well buy it. The extra 30,000 spirit stones will make you a wealthy businessman in the true spirit realm. Master Tianhu felt that with his price, he could convince Zhu Yun. But who would have thought that Zhu Yun took out a storage bag from his waist and threw it on the counter with a bang. I won't sell this elixir. Is it the price of 10,000 drinks? Take it. Then, he stuffed the elixir into his ring and waved to Shen Nan, who was always ready to take action behind him. Fellow Daoist Shen, it's time to go. At this time, both Master Tianhu and the two brothers who opened the restaurant were stunned. He actually has 10,000 spirit stones. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1055. Under the suppression and plunder of the demon race, the resources of the human race are pitifully few. Otherwise, the human cultivators would not cross a large realm and put down their dignity to seek elixirs. They even have to be cautious and submissive. Therefore, when the storage bag containing a full 10,000 spirit stones was placed on the counter, the tiger demon heavenly master was shocked. Even more shocked were the two demon kings. They only wanted Zhu Yun and Shen Nan's lives, not spirit stones. For demon cultivators like them who can open a shop in Behu City, as long as they can hand in the essence and blood of the human race's nascent soul stage on time and do not violate the rules of Behu City, then they don't need to worry about cultivation resources. Of course, compared with the human race, the resources they need are also simpler. Usually only spirit medicine is enough. And what Behu City lacks the least is various spirit medicines. On the human side, whether it is a righteous cultivator or a demon cultivator, they will eventually come to Behu City after collecting the best spirit medicines. It's because the human race lacks alchemists who can make pills. If you directly absorb the spiritual power from the spiritual medicine for cultivation, let alone the effect of these absorptions, the spiritual power in the spiritual medicine that has not been refined will require the cultivator to consume a considerable amount of energy to deal with, not to mention that some spiritual power will cause conflicts, which will greatly reduce the effect of cultivation. This has to say that the White Tiger City Lord is smart. He controlled the exchange of spiritual medicine and pills in an extremely delicate ratio, so that the human cultivators felt that at least they would not suffer losses. The higher the level of the pill, the stronger the alchemist is needed to refine it. But the stronger the alchemist, the more he is through refining countless pills. But since the spiritual medicines flowed to the White Tiger City, these alchemists encountered the problem of a good cook having no rice to cook. Over time, the recipes of those high-level pills gradually lost their inheritance. Nowadays, only the pills that can be taken by the Qi refining stage and the foundation establishment stage are circulated in the true spirit realm. There are no pills above the Dan formation stage. The reason why the Lord of White Tiger City is so confident is because they have an alchemist. They can make pills. In this way, the lifeline of the human race is completely controlled. For thousands of years, the prestige of White Tiger City has been getting worse and worse in the Western Fan realm. To break this situation, only advanced pill recipes can be circulated in the world. But Master Tianhu doesn't care about this at all. He just wants to get the golden marrow pill in Zhu Yun's hand. Daiyu, Master Tianhu suddenly came to his senses when he saw Zhu Yun turn around and step out of the restaurant door. Not only did he chase him out, but his tone was also much more polite. Daiyu, please stay. Zhu Yun smiled in his heart, but still stopped. Why, in broad daylight, do you want to rob? Seeing Zhu Yun's half-smile question, Master Tianhu looked at the sky helplessly. It was not pitch dark, but it was almost the same. It was dark in the sky, and you told me it was in broad daylight. But he had to ask for help, so he could only lose face. Daiyu, is it because you don't have enough spirit stones? This, I only have a little residual medicinal fragrance left. Otherwise, if you give me a pill, I can also make a price, right? 1. Zhu Yun's heart moved, he still knew how to play the long game. He could have as many golden marrow pills as he wanted. The premise is that he has a safe place to refine them. This Master Tianhu has a high status. If Zuyun wants to walk safely in this White Tiger City, he needs such a person to help. He took out the bottle stopper, and the faint medicinal fragrance spread. Master Tianhu immediately took a greedy sip, and his face also showed an expression of enjoyment. But soon, the medicinal fragrance dissipated. Zuyun's hand had an extra golden pill. It was the golden marrow pill. Take it, don't bother me anymore. Playing hard to get. Whether it is alchemy, refining, or other ways, Zuyun knows how obsessed these people are with their own ways. Master Tianhu will not let him leave. Daiyu, Daiyu. Sure enough, before Zuyun took 2 steps, Tianhu Master hurriedly followed behind him and called out. As soon as he stopped, Tianhu Master blocked him. Daiyu, where did this elixir come from? It's late at night, and Daiyu is also looking for a place to stay. If you don't mind, how about sitting in my house? Zuyun's eyes flashed with brilliance. He naturally refused because the fire was not yet ready. This tiger demon wine has a strong after effect. I don't want to sit, I just want to lie down. Master Tianhu immediately understood this joke, turned around and glared at the 2 demon kings who opened the restaurant, and he was intimidating without anger. You go back, these 2 are my friends. There was already a warning in his words. Yes, yes. The 2 reluctantly retreated to their own restaurant, watching Tianhu Master and Zuyun take Shen Nan away, talking and laughing. After half an hour. Tianhu Pavilion. Master Tianhu personally opened the door to welcome the guests and led Zuyun into this huge courtyard. Daiyu, I'll ask the servants to make some tea to help with the alcohol. Faced with Master Tianhu's hospitality, Zuyun looked at him with a smile, but didn't say anything. Master Tianhu touched his nose and said, there are no outsiders in this courtyard. There is a small lake there, and there is a small pavilion in the lake. It is very quiet and there will be no servants to disturb. Zuyun nodded slightly and said, Master Tianhu is so sincere, so I respectfully obey your order. Master Tianhu was extremely excited and made a gesture, please. Restaurant. Brother, we can't afford to offend Master Tianhu. If we don't hand over our blood by midnight, I'm afraid we won't be able to handle today's mission. The waiter said with hatred and anger. Master Tianhu, they can't afford to offend him. It is said that the city lord also wants to give him 3 points of face. Right now, we only have 3 ways to go. The shopkeeper raised his eyes and looked out the window at the dark night and said. Which 3? The second boy couldn't help but look in admiration. He could only find 1 dead end, but the elder brother could find 3. As expected of a big brother. First, let's go around the city and see if we can encounter the human nascent soul stage still wandering outside at night. Second, report what happened tonight and say that we were about to complete the mission, but it was destroyed by Master Tianhu. Let the people from White Tiger City deal with Master Tianhu. The third one is that you and I pack up our bags and run away overnight. The first one is to take risks, the second one is to divert trouble, and the third one is to take risks. But no matter which one you take, it's a bad idea. There may be only a thin line between death and death. This is not okay. The human race has long said that you should not walk around the city at night. Secondly, I heard that Master Tianhu and the Lord of White Tiger City have an irreconcilable relationship. We reported it to them. I'm afraid we are the ones who will suffer, and running away. Beihu City is closed at sunset, and no one can get out. The waiter almost cried. It is extremely difficult for a demon cultivator to reach the realm of Demon King. Most of them survived for a long time. They are no exception. Then what else can I do? I have no other choice. The shopkeeper shook his head and said, I have thought of all 3 options, but I can't make a decision. Why not let you decide? Choose one of the three. The waiter took a deep breath and said, the first and third items are both taboos. If you fail, you will die without a burial place. The second item, maybe there is a glimmer of hope. Okay, then the second one. The shopkeeper nodded heavily and said, without further ado, let's go to the outer wall of the city lord's mansion to report the situation. Don't talk too much, let me do the talking. Yes, brother. The two of them collected all the valuable things from the two restaurants opposite, took them with them, and then rushed towards the center of the city. I didn't expect you to be an alchemist. Zuyun looked at Master Tianhu unexpectedly, and even more surprised. Shen Nan did not follow Zuyun into the lake center pavilion, but stayed on the shore, but kept observing the situation here. This actually made Zuyun feel that Shen Nan was worth getting to know. Of course, we made friends in this Western world. Went to the spiritual world, may we meet again if we have the chance. Friend Chi Deo, he is an alchemist, that's why he thinks this elixir is extraordinary. To be honest, if this elixir appears in Behu City, I'm afraid, it will cause chaos in Behu City. Zuyun frowned and said, if it will cause chaos, why do you want this pill again? Zuyun pointed to the golden marrow pill on the table and said, Friend Equator, there are more monks than porridge, more wolves but less meat. This bottle of golden marrow pills you have can only contain dozens of pills at most. But the demon kings in White Tiger City have thousands of them. Through the scent of the medicine, I can't know how to make this medicine. It is made, but you can know that it has a great tempering effect on the demon body. Just imagine, which demon king wouldn't want it? Zuyun immediately understood what Master Tianhu meant. What he wants is not the elixir, but the elixir. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1056. In fact, Zuyun didn't attach too much importance to the elixirs in the immortal mansion. The most critical part of these elixirs is the elixir. If he didn't have a medicine garden full of soil and a vast universe, Zuyun might not have been able to make elixirs that easily. Based on his understanding of the Xifen realm at this time, on the surface, it is a problem of the loss of Danfang. The fundamental reason is the vicious cycle that has always existed. In the end, it is still necessary to solve the monopoly and dictatorship of Behu City. Master Tianhu, if you have anything to say, just say it. Zuyun raised his eyebrows and said lightly. He is not afraid that Master Tianhu wants it, but he is afraid that he does not want it. If he wanted to break the situation, he might be able to solve it through alchemy, and he could indeed use the elixir recipe in exchange for an alchemy environment. Master Tianhu's identity and status are quite good, and he can make a deal with him. I would like to ask, friend Edeo, if you have the recipe for this body refining elixir. Sure enough, Zuyun guessed it correctly. Zuyun smiled slightly and said, this elixir is called Golden Marrow Pill. Golden Marrow Pill? What a name! Master Tianhu said solemnly, from the smell of the medicine, I can tell that this pill is made from elixirs that mainly absorb the metal element. It is probably also used to shape the body. It seems that I still haven't guessed. Wrong. Master Tianhu's attainments in alchemy, Qi admires him. Qi also admitted that if the recipe for this golden marrow pill was handed over to Master Tianhu, would the demon race be stronger in the future, and the human race, would it be weaker? This. Master Tianhu laughed twice, and then said, Friend Chi Deo, these words are a bit serious. Even if you have the elixir recipe, it is probably not that easy to refine a high-quality golden marrow elixir, right? First of all, the second suitable elixir is Zuyun did not give the other party a chance to continue explaining, waved his hand and interrupted. Almost all the elixir resources in the mortal world are concentrated in Behu City. Qi doesn't believe these nonsense. You can want the elixir, but Qi also has a condition. What conditions? Master Tianhu's eyes suddenly flashed with light. He had made a move against Zuyun before and knew that the opponent's strength was definitely not inferior to his own. Otherwise, even if Zuyun's elixir can arouse his great interest, he will most likely take it by force. Master Tianhu should be able to guess it. I am also an alchemist. Zuyun was half sent when Master Tianhu said suspiciously, do you want Tianhu to help Chideo in exchange for some elixirs that can be used to make elixirs? He thought that Zuyun also wanted to seek a breakthrough from elixirs, so he wanted to use the elixirs in exchange for elixirs to make elixirs, so as to improve his alchemy skills. Exactly. Zuyun has made up his mind to make elixirs in Behu City. If friend Chideo just wants some elixirs, that's easy to say. The recipe for the golden marrow pill, all the elixirs in Tianhu Pavilion can be used by friend Chideo. In addition, whatever elixir is needed, as long as Behu City has it, Tianhu Pavilion can use it. Tigers can also be obtained for equatorial friends. Zuyun smiled heartily, stood up, and said, deal. Master Tianhu was immediately overjoyed and said quickly, friends from Edeo want to make alchemy in White Tiger City, so there is no suitable place except my Tianhu Pavilion. Friends from Edeo can use Tianhu's alchemy room and alchemy furnace. Master Tianhu also knows how much benefit the golden marrow pill can bring to him. The Demon King has been looking for a pill that can refine his body. Apart from him, there are only a few people in the city who know about it. As long as the golden marrow pill is effective, he will be able to achieve great success, and then he will be able to fight for the opportunity to go to the spiritual world. I don't need an alchemy room, but I need Master Tianhu to provide me with a place where I won't be disturbed by others. If possible, Zhu can give the alchemy recipe directly to Master Tianhu. Easy to say, easy to say. Master Tianhu immediately said, as soon as you open your mouth wherever you like, friend Chideo, Tianhu will also tell the people in the pavilion not to come near it. That's very good. Zuyun nodded, and then he left the Huixin pavilion with Master Tianhu, and took Shen Nan with him, and finally found a small courtyard. This place is nice. The courtyard is not small, and Zuyun can set up a large formation here to prevent accidents. Master Tianhu's goal was to give the recipe for the golden marrow pill himself. Who could guarantee that his appetite would be like this and then turn against him? Of course, he felt that this was unlikely. Interacting with Master Tianhu is more of an exchange between fellow alchemists. Although I don't know how Master Tianhu, a demon cultivator, learned the human alchemy method, in some ways, he is no different from the human alchemist. Zuyun handwritten a prescription for elixir and handed it to Master Tianhu, who then left in a hurry, leaving only Shen Nan and Zuyun in the small courtyard. Friend Chideo, what did you say to Master Tianhu? Shen Nan couldn't help but look suspicious as he watched Zuyun write a few words on the paper and Master Tianhu left as if he had found a treasure. I originally thought that Zuyun was just an ordinary late-stage nascent soul who came to Behu City on a pilgrimage to obtain the divine eye pill. As a result, the development of things gradually made him unable to understand. We will stay in Tianhu Pavilion for the time being, Zuyun said with a smile. Of course, if fellow deist Shen wants to go on a pilgrimage to seek medicine, you can do it yourself. Rather than chasing Shen Nan away, Zuyun wanted Shen Nan to make his own decision. If you stay and leave in the end, he won't be able to control it. This. Shen Nan hesitated and said, I won't leave. I said I would invite my fellow equators to the true spirit realm for a drink. Those who cultivate immortality cannot break their promises. Zuyun was impressed. Okay, then you stay. I'm going to set up a formation here. Can you help me guard it? Shen Nan was surprised, Friend Chi Dao can also set up a formation, and is he a formation master? Zuyun smiled and did not comment. Then, he took out the spirit stone, first set up a Dozhuan Xinyi formation outside the courtyard, and told Shen Nan how to open the formation door. Then, he set up the Juzhuan Juyang formation in the courtyard. Outside is the big formation, and inside is the small formation. If there is danger, you can break into the big formation to protect your safety. I have to concentrate on my work and cannot be disturbed, so you can't force your way into the small formation, but I can teach you how to transmit sound into the formation, and you can leave a message. Friend Chi Dao, don't worry, Shen will definitely help you. Shen Nan was shocked by Zuyun's method of setting up the formation. He could actually form a formation by throwing out the spirit stone. This method is really unheard of. In the Western Fan realm, it is not just the alchemy that is suppressed by the White Tiger City. The Dao of formation, the Dao of weapons, and countless other Daos. Then I'll have to trouble fellow Daoist Shen, Zuyun said with a slight smile, and then took out a few pieces of talisman paper, drew a few vitality talismans in front of Shen Nan, and handed them over. If you are attacked by someone, you can stick this talisman between your eyebrows, which will provide you with vitality, so that you have a chance to escape into the formation and hide. The reason why he didn't draw other talismans for him, in addition to Zuyun always showing himself as a cultivator with wood spiritual roots, was that he was afraid that Shen Nan would have an accident. If he gave Shen Nan a talisman with strong attacks such as the Fire Bird talisman or the Fire Phoenix talisman, Shen Nan would definitely fight back. This would make the trouble even bigger, and it would not be so easy for him to solve it at that time. Therefore, he used the Vitality Talisman. In this way, if Shen Nan was injured, he only needed to use the Vitality Talisman to protect his vitality and escape into the Dozhuan Xinyi formation, and he could breathe and wait until he finished refining the elixir. Zuyun's plan was to refine the elixir in the Immortal Mansion, and come out to sea after refining a furnace. He planned to refine 3 kinds of pills: Golden Marrow Pill, Infant Cultivation Pill and Soul Shaping Pill. The Golden Marrow Pill is not very useful for the human race in the current Xi'an realm. The purpose of refining it and putting it on his body is that if he confronts the demon cultivators, he can use the Golden Marrow Pill as a bargaining chip. The Infant Cultivation Pill and Soul Shaping Pill are naturally prepared for the human race. There are many human races in Behu City. If the 2 races really fight, maybe he can raise his arms and all human races will stand on his side. Zuyun didn't know how strong the mastermind behind the scenes was, so he had to make his side stronger as much as possible. After entering the formation, Zuyun turned and entered the Immortal Mansion and walked towards the bedroom. He had refined the Guardian Pill before and asked Fen Tianyan to take it. Now he wanted to continue refining pills, so he naturally had to call Fen Tianyan back. But just as he reached the door, the window next to him suddenly opened. Then, a golden light suddenly pierced his eyes. A chaotic force that seemed to be different from him, with an unstoppable momentum, seemed to split him in half. He quickly dodged to the side, but the golden light suddenly stopped, and then instantly turned into a small knife, slashing down on his head. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1057. Nujiao. Zuyun exclaimed and took a few steps back. This mysterious sword technique seemed ordinary, but he almost couldn't dodge it. If he hadn't sensed that there was no murderous intent in these 2 moves, Zuyun would have fought back immediately. Master, thanks to you, otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to master my sword skills so quickly. The smiling Nujiao appeared at the window, and then a ray of fire passed by, fell in front of him, and turned into a human form. It's Fen Tianyan. Zuyun said in surprise, have you succeeded in practicing the Divine Eye technique? Earlier, Zuyun had said that he would let Nujiao practice the Divine Eye technique first, and then practice the sword technique after she succeeds. In order to prevent Nujiao from getting discouraged, he specially borrowed key points from the Wuji sword technique. There is no sword in the hand, but there is a sword in the heart. Flying flowers and picking leaves can be used as swords. At this time, Nujiao mentioned the sword technique, so it goes without saying. Well, the training was successful. Nujiao nodded and looked at Zuyun with a smile on her face and said, "I didn't expect that the young master would be so handsome." Zuyun suddenly became embarrassed, touched his cheek with some embarrassment, and then said, "It's good if you can see it. I have already met the great universe artifact Immortal, but I haven't fully learned his formation, so this restriction may still be there. It will take some time to unravel." "There's no rush," Nu Jiao said softly, "I just want to test this brand new sword technique and the use of the spiritual power here. Then maybe I can have a good showdown with the young master in the open space of this fairy mansion." "It couldn't be better." Zuyun agreed repeatedly, but for a moment he couldn't help but wonder, will Nujiao, who has learned the key points of the Wuji sword technique, be able to practice the Wuji sword technique? After talking to Nujiao for a few more words, Zuyun also felt that Nujiao was completely different from before. Perhaps she had found a new way of living. She had truly come out of the news of the immortal emperor's death. For some reason, Zuyun's mood also relaxed a lot. After saying goodbye to Nujiao, Zuyun took Fen Tianyan to the alchemy room. "Make a furnace of each type of elixir, and then go out to see Shen Nan." Zuyun asked Fen Tianyan to heat up the furnace, while he went to get the elixir he needed and officially started refining the elixir. At this time, in a secret room in Tianhu Pavilion, Master Tianhu returned to his true form. It's a big transparent white tiger. But the amazing thing is that between his eyebrows, there is not the word, but the word. This is the origin of his name Tianhu. I saw his huge body lying on the ground, with his huge mouth open, and a stream of flames was shooting out of his mouth. The final direction of the flames was a furnace with a long history, which was simple in shape and quite old. According to what the elixir said, it is not difficult to refine this elixir, but why? I always feel like something is wrong. There was a faint fragrance of immature medicine in the secret room. After parting with Zuyun, he couldn't help but start refining elixirs. Now that the time was over, the scent of the medicine had come out, but he clearly felt that the scent of the medicine was very different from the golden marrow pill given by Zuyun. He was not without suspicion that Zuyun had deliberately tampered with the elixir formula, but then he thought about it and found that he still had a golden marrow elixir in his hand, which could be used for comparison. He didn't believe that Zuyun didn't know. This can easily lead to misunderstandings. Well, let's refine the elixir first. After all, elixirs are also divided into colors. Perhaps the reason why the golden marrow elixir has such a strong medicinal fragrance is related to its color. But in this case, this fellow equator's alchemy skills not only surpass the entire human race, I am afraid that even I can't compare to him. Knowing that he should not be too distracted when refining alchemy, Master Tianhu also put away his thoughts and concentrated on spraying his demon fire into the furnace. After a long time, all the golden spiritual power in the furnace has been purified. Under the control of his demon power, all the golden spiritual power gathered together and condensed into golden pills. Elixir is complete. Master Tianhu's eyes flashed, and he turned around and returned to his human form. Then he stretched out his hand, and the furnace lid opened, and several golden lights flew towards his hand. "Put it in the bottle." Master Tianhu once again used his demon power to control a porcelain bottle on a wooden stand in the house. Of more than 10 pills, only one remained, and the rest fell into the bottle. Call. Breathing out a breath of turbid air, Master Tianhu held the newly refined golden marrow pill in one hand, with a trace of disappointment flashing in his eyes. The process of refining the elixir went smoothly, but the quality of the elixir made him a little disappointed. Why, only 30%. All in all, this can only be regarded as an inferior elixir. He poured the golden marrow pill given by Zuyun into the palm of his hand. Without comparison, he really couldn't see the difference between the two pills. Under the strong medicinal aroma, Master Tianhu could not smell the medicinal aroma of the golden marrow pill he had refined at all. It seems that my alchemy level is not as good as that of my equatorial friend. He frowned. The people in White Tiger City did not expect a powerful alchemist to emerge from the human race. But he also thought about achieving higher attainments in the alchemy path. Among the demon clan, there are not many people who can communicate with him about alchemy. Even if they do, they each hide their abilities and don't want to show them. But after a conversation with Zuyun, although he felt that the other party had interests in mind, at least the few words he said about alchemy made him think that Zuyun could help him learn more experience in alchemy, which would be helpful. It gave him a deeper understanding of alchemy. He didn't want anything unexpected to happen to Zuyun. In this White Tiger City, except for me, no one knows that he is an alchemist. You must not let anyone know, otherwise he will kill people. Looking at the pill in his hand, Master Tianhu made a difficult decision. Zuyun is the only opportunity for him to break through in the way of alchemy, so he must not get into trouble. Go ask him why the efficacy of my golden marrow pill is so different. His is 90%, but mine is only 30%. Master Tianhu put away the pill and walked out of the secret room. But before he took a few steps, he heard a noise coming from outside the house, and the momentum was not small. He frowned again. In the middle of the night, could it be that someone asked him to go to appraise treasures again? The appraisal fee is the main source of income for Master Tianhu. Because he often appraises treasures for the city lord's mansion and has never made a mistake, he has a very good relationship with the city lord, and the servants in the city lord's mansion are also very respectful to him. Naturally, ordinary people will not come to his Tianhu pavilion to make trouble. But this commotion, could it be that some rare treasure has been born? Thinking of this, Master Tianhu walked out of the door. When he opened the door, he was stunned to see the people coming. You two are the favorites of the city lord. You came to Tianhu pavilion in the middle of the night. It doesn't seem to be for treasure appraisal, right? Master Tianhu secretly felt something was wrong. He hadn't caused any misunderstandings recently. Master Tianhu, one of the demon kings, saluted first, and then said, "Some people say that Master Tianhu is protecting the human race who caused trouble, so we came to Tianhu pavilion to investigate. Please cooperate with Master Tianhu to avoid the city lord blaming us. We can't bear it." Master Tianhu said angrily, "Who said this? Although I, Tianhu, occasionally communicate with the human race, it is mostly about treasure appraisal, and I will never break the rules of this White Tiger City. If there is a human race guilty, it has nothing to do with me, let alone the matter of protecting it." He couldn't think of Zuyun anyway. Because Zuyun gave 10,000 spirit stones, it was not considered a free meal, so he did not break the rules. Master Tianhu, the rules cannot be broken. Since someone said you were a cover-up, and we checked the relevant photo beads, you were indeed at the scene at that time. If you want us not to come in to investigate, that's fine. Master Tianhu admits the crime and goes with us to the city lord's mansion to meet the city lord. I believe that with Master Tianhu's identity, the city lord will not make things difficult for Master Tianhu. The words were extremely polite. But in fact, Master Tianhu was not given any face at all. Suddenly, Master Tianhu's face darkened. In Behu City, the Lord of Behu City is the sky here. Helplessly, he turned aside and said coldly, "You two, what is the crime of false accusation?" The two demon kings walked in, and one of them said as he walked, "False accusation is punishable by death. Then I'll be relieved. I hope that I won't be found to have protected the human race, and I can see with my own eyes that the person who made the false accusation was beheaded and displayed to the public." Of course, the demon king nodded, regardless of whether there is any verification, we will report the situation to the city lord truthfully, and the city lord will make the decision at that time. Please. Master Tianhu made a gesture, but saw another demon king who had not spoken all the time took out a strange-shaped compass from his arms. After a little transfer of demon power, the compass suddenly glowed, and then the demon power radiated and quickly spread in Tianhu Pavilion. After a moment, the compass shook, and the demon king who controlled it quickly looked into the distance. Over there are human cultivators. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1058. Didn't you say that you didn't protect the human race? The demon king's eyes suddenly turned cold, and his murderous intent was faintly revealed. He is the leader of the personal guards of the White Tiger City Lord, and his true body is a cold-blooded wolf monster. Master Tianhu snorted disdainfully and said, "Leader Wolf, what you are investigating is the crime of shielding the human race. If the human race has not violated the city's rules, what crime is there, and how can we cover it up?" The demon king holding the compass shouted angrily, "Tianhu, don't think that just because you have some relationship with the city lord, you can do whatever you want. Don't you know the seriousness of what happened today?" Tianhu narrowed his eyes without fear and said loudly, "Foxguard, I, Tianhu, walk upright and sit upright. I usually make a living by appraising treasures. I can earn spiritual stones by appraising treasures. I can get acquainted with the city lord by holding it come here to cheat. If you want to throw dirty water, I, Tianhu, won't admit it." "Okay, okay," the wolf leader clapped his hands and said with a fierce look in his eyes, "then let's go see that human race and confront him face to face to see what you have to say. Go and go, who is afraid of whom? If you want to use the city lord to suppress me, Tianhu, I, Tianhu, can't be bullied at will." Master Tianhu personally walked in front and simply led the way to prove his innocence. Not long after, they arrived at the small courtyard where Zuyun was. I saw Shen Nan sitting cross-legged, spiritual energy flowing around his body, obviously refining his qi. However, he naturally did not go too deep into protecting Zuyun. Hearing the sound of footsteps, he slowly opened his eyes. Master Tianhu. He was not stupid. He could see Master Tianhu's expression and the unkind footsteps of the person behind him, so he subconsciously held a vitality talisman between his palms. "Friend Chi Dao has told me that no matter who comes, don't take action, lest the other party has an excuse to kill him." Shen Nan said silently in his heart to remind himself. "Well," Master Tianhu responded, pointing at the wolf leader and eagle guard, "you two have something to ask you, just tell the truth." Shen Nan was even more energetic. It can be said that he and Zuyun went to the city together, and they never interacted with anyone while wandering around. The last thing that happened was in the restaurant. Could it be that those two evil demon kings complained first, so someone from the city lord's mansion came to investigate? "You two don't know what you want to ask?" Shen Nan asked in a neither humble nor arrogant tone. "Human race, let me ask you, have you ever drank tiger demon brew at that jade restaurant?" Drink it? Shen Nan secretly thought that it was indeed the case. He responded and said loudly, "And we have given spirit stones, a total of 10,000, Master Tianhu can testify." The wolf leader didn't look at Master Tianhu at all. Because the purpose of their trip is not about overlord wine, but for the elixir. "I know you gave the spirit stone," the wolf leader said coldly, "you took the elixir and the spirit stone, and you fooled the two brothers at the jade restaurant. Is this a problem?" "Fooled? Impossible." As soon as Shen Nan heard about the elixir, he had a secret. Maybe he was motivated by wealth, so he came to Tianhu Pavilion. He immediately denied it. The wolf leader shouted angrily, "How dare you quibble? If you had the spirit stone, why didn't you take it out first?" Why did you find Master Tianhu with the elixir? But after you found Master Tianhu, why did you give the spirit stone in the end? The monks who opened shops in White Tiger City are all protected by our White Tiger City. You humans dare to break the rules of our White Tiger City, but you want to die. As soon as the words fell, the eagle guard beside him suddenly used his demonic power on the compass. The demonic aura was awe-inspiring, and a huge coercion rose from the light and quickly pressed towards Shen Nan. Not good. Shen Nan was shocked and quickly used his magical powers to dodge, and then he managed to escape. What are you doing? Master Tianhu was shocked and quickly stepped forward and stood in front of the eagle guard, preventing him from continuing to use the compass to coerce Shen Nan. However, this move angered the wolf leader. Tianhu, the city lord's personal guards are doing something, you dare to stop them. Master Tianhu shouted sternly, we agreed to confront each other face to face, but you just do it. You say it's the rule of the White Tiger City, but isn't your move also a violation of the city lord's order? Especially, unprovoked attacks on human beings take action. Unprovoked. The wolf leader snorted coldly, now I am absolutely sure, Tianhu, you are colluding with the human race. Fart, fart your mother's stinky shit. Tianhu was furious. If such a big hat was removed, let alone a tiger in the sky, even a tiger in the sky would not be alive. Why am I colluding with the human race? It's just that I spent the spiritual stone to buy the mysterious elixir. This is a legitimate transaction. And these two people traded in my Tianhu pavilion for safety. Is there a problem with this? He was scolded, but Tianhu also knew the seriousness of the situation. He did commit a big taboo by trading elixir recipes with Zuyun. Breaking a rule that only circulates among the demon clan. All elixir prescriptions suitable for elixirs above the elixir formation stage need to be handed over to the city lord's mansion as soon as possible, otherwise it will be a serious crime. Tianhu never thought of hiding this elixir secretly. Instead, after refining it yourself, thoroughly study the elixir formula, and then hand it over. But who would have thought that the city lord's mansion would send someone here so quickly? How did they guess it? Under such circumstances, Tianhu could only deny it. He had a lot of exchanges with the Lord of the White Tiger City, and he even knew how powerful the Lord of the White Tiger City was. If the recipe for this golden marrow pill was presented to him by his two personal guards, I'm afraid he wouldn't end well either. Shen Nan also knew at this moment that Master Tianhu was on his side, and he immediately said, you two, we traded a pill with Master Tianhu. This is not considered a violation of the rules of White Tiger City, right? But Shen Nan had no idea that his words would make the wolf leader immediately point the finger at him. You guys. His eyes narrowed, and he said in a deep voice, there are indeed two human beings shown in the image bead. Only you are here. Where is the other one? Let him come out and speak. Shen Nan secretly thought that it was not good. Zuyun had ordered him to stay outside and hide in the formation when necessary. It can be seen that what Zuyun did was obviously not a good thing. But it was during this moment of hesitation that the eagle guard moved. Seeing that the compass in his hand flashed thousands of demonic lights and blasted straight towards Shen Nan. Shen Nan was only in the late nascent soul stage, and since they were the personal guards of the White Tiger City Lord, their strength was far superior to others. Immediately, Shen Nan felt as if his chest was struck by lightning, and the whole person flew backwards. Regardless of whether Tianhu is protecting his people, let's capture you first. He concluded that Shen Nan and Zuyun had secretly colluded with Master Tianhu. Because of this, the eagle guard did not kill him and planned to capture Shen Nan alive. Shen Nan vomited blood and put the vitality symbol between his palms on his forehead without hesitation. A huge vitality force quickly flowed into his purple palace from his eyebrows, and then spread throughout his body. The vitality symbol cannot heal injuries, but it can keep Shen Nan's vitality from continuing to fade. The Eagle Guard's compass is actually a magic weapon specifically used to restrain human cultivators. If they are not treated in time after being seriously injured, they will die sooner or later. Fortunately, the vitality brought by the vitality symbol allows Shen Nan to control his body. Suppressing the severe pain, Shen Nan pinched a formation formula. The Dozhuan Xinyi formation immediately opened the formation gate, and he got in without hesitation. Seeing the familiar courtyard, Shen Nan actually laughed out loud, coughing up blood while laughing. There is a formation here, chase him. Outside the formation, seeing Shen Nan disappear in the courtyard, the two guards immediately discovered the formation and ran towards the gate. But the gate disappeared without a trace after Shen Nan entered. But under Zhu Yun's intentional setting, the two rushed straight into the formation and were trapped in the endless void. Trapped. The two also found their situation immediately. There was an endless void and thousands of stars, as if they had directly crossed from the ground to the night sky. This formation is mysterious, which means there is a formation master. Being able to trap our realm is enough to show the power of the person who set up the formation. Whether it is the human cultivator who has not appeared or the work of Tianhu, this matter must be reported to the city lord as soon as possible. What should we do? You and I don't understand the formation. We can only break it by force. The two had no plan to deal with it at all, and they gathered their demonic power and blasted in all directions. But this formation was carefully set up by Zhu Yun, and it was arranged very completely. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't do it, just like punching on cotton. At the same time, Master Tianhu looked at the formation with a dull face. This was completely beyond his imagination. Not only did he know that this must have been set up by Zhu Yun, but also the two guards of the city lord came here. Whether he was dead or alive, he would not have a good ending. What should I do? Master Tianhu couldn't stay or leave, so he could only pace back and forth outside the formation. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzhuan Xianxia. Chapter 1059. What should I do? These two people are so powerful. If he breaks the formation, equatorial friends haven't come out from the inner formation yet. After Shen Nan escaped into the small courtyard, he used the method Zhu Yun used to write a note and put it in the 9 turns and 9 suns formation. As long as Zhu Yun can come out of the immortal mansion, he can immediately know what is happening outside. But the violent vibrations coming from the Dozhuangxing shifting formation made him feel a little nervous. The demon power was faintly overflowing, and Shen Nan knew the horror in it. It's not that I'm afraid of dying. But he was afraid of implicating Zhu Yun. After walking with Zhu Yun for a long time, he got to know Zhu Yun's personality. After seeing Zhu Yun's many methods, he admired Zhu Yun even more. Such a person should not die in the hands of the demon clan. He didn't understand justice, and he couldn't talk about letting the entire human race stand up and take charge in the mortal world, but his instinct told him that Zhu Yun would definitely become such a person. Look outside, the originally arrogant Master Tianhu is on Zhu Yun's side. Such capable people may be the hope of all races. Shen Nan couldn't see the situation of the two personal guards of the Demon King in the formation, so he could only pray that Zhu Yun would see the note soon and come out to deal with it. As for the consequences of killing these two Demon Kings, he couldn't think too much about it anymore. The demonic power that invaded his body due to being injured by the compass was constantly eroding his body. After one vitality talisman was used up, Shen Nan immediately attached another vitality talisman. Other than that, he couldn't do anything to help. Just like Master Tianhu outside, he could only watch like this. At this time, Zhu Yun has also reached the final stage of alchemy. The last batch of soul-shaping pills is finished. It's time to go out and take a look. He didn't let his guard down. Although Master Tianhu showed good intentions to him, this was also driven by interests. Maybe this will develop in a good direction, but it is also possible that Master Tianhu will take advantage of it. The human heart is unpredictable, and the evil heart is even more unpredictable. As an alchemist, Zhu Yun is more aware of the temptation that the alchemy he obtained from the immortal mansion has on Master Tianhu. He just tried his best to maintain it at an extremely subtle point. After a long time, he finally made the last batch of elixir. Feng Tian, come back. After Zhu Yun put away the elixir, he let Feng Tianyan return to his belly to warm it up. 3 consecutive batches of pills consumed a lot of Feng Tianyan. Although it was convenient to hide it in his forearm, if he wanted to restore the fire power, he could only hide it in Zhu Yun's belly and under the lotus. As for the lotus fire, Zhu Yun had no time to take care of it. Although it was also in his lower abdomen, the magical thing was that the lotus fire would melt into the entire chaos lotus. There was nothing strange about his body, so Zhu Yun didn't bother to pay attention. Master, I'll be fine if I sleep for half an hour. Fen Tianyan was also a little tired, and after saying something to Zhu Yun, he fell silent. Zhu Yun then dodged, left the immortal mansion, appeared in the small courtyard, and immediately saw a note. Something's happening. His eyes narrowed, and he took the note out of the air. After taking a look at it, his expression suddenly changed. It actually attracted the personal guards of the city lord's mansion to investigate the case. This is not good. I thought that the biggest threat would be Master Tianhu, but I didn't expect that Master Tianhu would speak for me. Zhu Yun read it again word for word, and then walked out of the small courtyard and saw Shen Nan, who was using the vitality charm and healing his wounds. The demon power is shaking, and his realm has not reached its peak. Fortunately, he was given a few more vitality charms, otherwise I would be unable to save myself if I came out at this time. Zhu Yun's face also turned cold, and at the same time he was a little lucky in his heart that he had been more cautious and kept Shen Nan by his side, otherwise he would have known nothing about what was happening outside. Friend Deist Shen. Zhu Yun walked up to Shen Nan and called softly. Friend Chideo, are you out? Shen Nan opened his eyes with difficulty and said with surprise. I saw your note. Thanks to you. Otherwise, I might be attacked by the 2 demon kings when I go out. Zhu Yun was also looking at the long term. Since the 2 demon kings were the city lord's personal guards, this meant that the conflict between him and the city lord had already been resolved. The only option is to use force. But before he fully understands the city lord, he will not act rashly. There is no one like Xianxia who can control a mortal world. Either he is very powerful, or he has a backer from the spiritual world. Shen Nan didn't dare to take credit and said, if it weren't for friends Chideo, Shen might have died in White Tiger City. He originally thought that he would be careful and keep a low profile, and he could leave after receiving a pill after the pilgrimage. But walking with Zhu Yun for a day and night, I gained a deeper understanding of the fact that the human race was beaten to death by the demon race, and it was definitely not an accident. A single monk like him might have been targeted by the monsters outside the city. Zhu Yun did not speak, but took out a baby training pill, stuffed it directly into Shen Nan's mouth, and then shouted in a low voice, refining the power of the medicine with all your strength, and using the power of the medicine to drive out the demonic power from the body. Shen Nan was stunned and was about to ask what kind of elixir it was, but his mouth was filled with saliva, and a warm current flowed down his throat and went straight into his abdomen. In an instant, those raging demonic powers were driven away from his lower abdomen. Incomparably pure spiritual power gathered towards nascent soul at the same time. He quickly looked inside his body and saw that Yuanying, who was originally a little tired and drowsy, suddenly opened his eyes, shining with energy. Wherever the brilliant light reaches, the demonic power is shattered. Elixir, this is the elixir. Shen Nan was so excited that he didn't have time to thank Zhu Yun, and he immediately began to refine the medicinal power. He knew that if he delayed for a moment, he would waste countless medicinal power. Such a precious elixir, Chi Daiyu himself was reluctant to give it to me, it was a shame to waste it. After seeing Shen Nan put away his mind, Zhu Yun took a few steps and stood in the main array of Dozhuan Xinyi, then silently recited a mantra, and was already in the void. He saw two huge monsters, a blue wolf and a grey eagle, attacking the stars in the void. There are countless stars and the void is vast, but they can find a way to break the array. These two monster kings are not weak. Zhu Yun also secretly praised. This is a stupid method, but it is the best way for people who don't understand the array. To break the array by force, either use unmatched power to directly destroy the entire array, but in this mortal world, it is simply impossible. The other is to retreat to the second best, either destroy the main array or destroy the secondary array. The main array is naturally not easy to be discovered, so only the secondary array can be destroyed. But the Dozhuan Xinyi array has many secondary arrays. This time, Zhu Yun arranged more than 1,000 to prevent Master Tianhu from taking action. Indeed, the two demon kings can destroy a star with a combined attack. But there is nothing they can do because there are too many of them, and because of the formation, they are in the void, and each secondary array is a little far away. Since they are the city lord's personal guards, they know the city lord better than Master Tianhu, and they are just caught in this formation. Zhu Yun's heart moved, and his figure immediately disappeared from the spot. Leader, can we really get out by destroying all the stars? The eagle guard panted slightly, and his hand holding the compass was shaking a little, and he doubted the judgment of the wolf leader. They destroyed dozens of stars together, consuming a lot, but the void seemed to have no change. In this void, what else can we see besides thousands of stars? The wolf leader also stopped and said helplessly. It's not that he hadn't tried to attack the void, but no matter how he attacked, the demonic power could not hit any target. Only these stars exuded spiritual power. In fact, to say that it was breaking the formation was more like a kind of powerless catharsis. It's better to have power than to have power nowhere to use. The eagle guard was silent and looked down at the compass in his hand, but suddenly, the compass moved abnormally, and the pointer on it shook for a while, and finally pointed behind him. Leader, someone is coming in. The eagle guard exclaimed and turned his head quickly. But what he saw was a burst of white light. Dozens of stars actually blasted towards them. The eagle guard's face changed drastically, and he quickly dodged to the side. Since entering the formation, these stars have never taken action. Even if they were under the influence of demonic power, the stars did not react at all. But at this time, how could so many of them gather together? Be careful, someone is driving us. It must be the one who set up the formation. When the wolf leader heard the eagle guard's shout, he reacted immediately. His wolf eyes glowed green, and he saw a human silhouette behind the attacking stars. But he was powerless. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzhuan Xianxia. Chapter 1060. Boom. 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 In desperation, Eagle Guard poured all his demonic power into the compass. The compass instantly grew in size, and at the same time tens of thousands of demonic lights bloomed. All the stars flew upwards, making loud and shocking noises. But the collision of spiritual power and demonic power also gave the Eagle Guard a strong impact. Every star shattered would make the Eagle Guard retreat step by step. At the same time, the Eagle Guard spit out blood arrows, obviously suffering a lot of injuries. The strength is pretty good, but do you think you can block the thousands of stars here? After dozens of stars were destroyed, Zhu Yun's figure appeared. Looking at the extremely embarrassed Eagle Guard, he said lightly, with a look of contempt in his eyes. It's you. The wolf leader's eyes glowed green and he roared. This familiar figure was exactly what he had seen in the photo beads. Yes, it's me. Zuyun had a faint smile on his face and looked directly into the wolf leader's wolf pupils without fear. I haven't been to the true spirit realm for a long time. I didn't expect someone like you to appear in the human race. The wolf leader can become the head of the personal guard, so he naturally has a unique vision, and his demon clan heritage is all in his pair of wolf eyes. There was no evidence to show why Zuyun came, but he could tell that Zuyun would overthrow the rule of White Tiger City. Human race, let me go, I will take you to see the city lord. The wolf leader's wolf eyes could better see his situation. He didn't need Zuyun's coercion and inducement, he had already surrendered. No matter how hard you struggle, it's all pointless. Rather than die here, it is better to leave it to the city lord. As for what decision the city lord will make, that is not something he can know. And these words played right into Zuyun's heart. It's just that he wants to see the city lord, but not in this way. Leader Wolf, Zuyun said calmly, I want to see the city lord, but why should I let you take me there? Human race. The wolf leader growled, if I take you to see the city lord, there will be different consequences than if you kill my city lord and come to see you. If I take you to see him, it shows that you are willing to trade with the city lord. And if you kill me, it will be equivalent to declare war with the city lord. Yes, I admit that your formation is mysterious, but do you think your formation can deal with our city lord? Zuyun laughed and said, then why do you think that my formation can't deal with your city lord? The wolf leader suddenly choked on his words. Eagle Guard took a breath and said sternly, Chief, this person is stubborn and has wanted to kill us for a long time. He deliberately used the humans outside as bait to trick us into joining the battle. And Master Tianhu, this is probably why he colluded with this human race. Zuyun's eyes turned cold and he slapped him in the air. Quack. This palm seemed to appear out of thin air and slapped Eagle Guard hard on the face. Eagle Guard had no time to resist with his compass and was immediately slapped away. Humans, monsters can be killed, but not humiliated. I advise you with good intentions, don't be ignorant of good and evil. Seeing his subordinates being humiliated, the wolf leader was furious. Good intentions. Are your good intentions the person who seriously injured me? If I remember correctly, you originally wanted to kill him, right? No. You originally came here just to kill us. Then why should I? Are you going to let me go? Speaking of the latter part, Zuyun also shouted sharply. Then there's nothing more to say, the wolf leader simply said, his eyes focused with a fierce look, then let's do it. If I blink my eyes, I will recognize you as my master and become your pet. You are not worthy of being my pet. But if you want to die, it's not that easy. Zuyun laughed wildly, and his figure instantly disappeared into the endless void. Except for Zuyun's voice still echoing, there was no breath at all. Even the compass couldn't detect Zuyun's existence. Outside the formation, Shen Nan has woken up, and with Zuyun's help, he can also see the situation in the formation. Seeing the two demon kings who looked extremely vigilant, he was very puzzled and said, Friend Chideo, you can obviously kill the two demon kings, why don't you do it? It's easy to kill, but after killing them, the White Tiger City Lord will be on guard, so it will be difficult for us to deal with him. The enemy is hidden and we are clear. We don't know what the City Lord is capable of for the time being. Killing them is the next best thing. Policy. Shen Nan was not stupid, he could understand it with just a few clicks. With admiration in his heart, he asked, Friends Equator, what should we do next? He didn't say he had fully recovered, but Pei Yingdan made him feel sorry for Zuyun if he didn't do anything. Such a precious elixir, if you can take one in your lifetime, you will die without regrets. I'm going to see Master Tianhu. You continue to heal the wounds. Also, keep an eye on the formation. If they accidentally walk out of the formation, you can quickly come out and notify me. After that, he took out a whole bottle of Pei Ying Dan and threw it away casually. Shen Nan originally thought it was just an ordinary elixir to stabilize his subsequent injuries, but when he opened the cork and saw a bottle full of baby training pills, he was stunned. When he came to his senses, Zhu Yun was no longer there. Friend Equator, Shen Nan's life will be yours from now on. A single baby building pill made him treat it like an elixir. But with the whole bottle in his hand, he suddenly felt like he was in a dream. After giving himself a few hard slaps and using all his spiritual power, he felt the pain that penetrated deep into his bones. Only then did he believe that he was not dreaming. He knelt down on the ground without hesitation and faced Zhu Yun's departure. Pay my respects in the direction. Friend Chideo, it's great that you're okay. Seeing a figure suddenly appear in front of him, Master Tianhu almost cried with joy. What happened in Tianhu Pavilion made him not know what to do. He felt he couldn't help his personal guards kill Zhu Yun. If you help Zhu Yun kill his personal guards, he may not be able to survive in the entire mortal world. No matter which choice you choose, it is extremely difficult because the result may be the same. And the appearance of Zhu Yun suddenly gave him a backbone. Master Tianhu, I didn't expect to bring trouble to you. Through the note, Zhu Yun knew what happened. No wonder you, Master Tianhu said with a bitter smile, I thought they were coming for me. After all, I have accumulated a lot of wealth over the years, and the city lord may need more resources. But I didn't expect that they came directly for me. You guys are here. He had no choice but to think wrongly and was on the wrong team. Although everything started because of Zhu Yun, he couldn't blame Zhu Yun, who allowed him to have selfish motives at that time and wanted to keep the elixir and the elixir recipe. It doesn't matter, Zhu Yun really didn't care. Master Tianhu chose to defend him at the last moment. Even if it was a matter of interest, Master Tianhu had no choice but to stand on his side. He smiled and said, Master Tianhu said that the city lord needs more resources, can you help Qi solve his doubts? It stands to reason that the Lord of White Tiger City has taken over all the resources of the entire Western mortal realm. How could he possibly rob the resources of the people in the city? But if Master Tianhu can have such a conjecture, it will not be without purpose. Alas, Master Tianhu sighed. Since he chose to camp with Zhu Yun, naturally he would not hold anything back. Zhu Yun had become the last straw for him to survive, and he wanted to tell everything he knew. After a full hour, the sky gradually became brighter, and Zhu Yun had a general understanding of Beihu City. He was extremely angry and filled with rage. He wished he could kill all the demon cultivators in Beihu City. It turns out that Beihu City has been doing one thing over the years. It means gathering the power of the entire mortal world to refine a 10,000 blood pill. Just because the city lord got a prescription passed down from ancient times. It is not difficult to refine this kind of elixir, but the difficulty is in inducing it. Yao Yin is the blood of 10,000 babies. The so-called 10,000 infants does not mean 10,000 infants, but 10,000 nascent infants. The essence and blood of thousands of nascent soul stages. This is just a medicine introduction. Of course, Master Tianhu only knows this step. But in the entire White Tiger City, except for the demon cultivator who is close to the city lord, no one knows about it. Master Tianhu has participated in the study of elixirs, so he knows a little bit about it. So, those demon cultivators in White Tiger City are looking for every reason to kill nascent soul cultivators, just for their blood essence. Yes, having said this, Master Tianhu felt extremely guilty, because he also knew that the two brothers at the Jade Restaurant also wanted to obtain the essence and blood of Zhu Yun and the two, and he almost became an accomplice. Fortunately, at that time, he was an accomplice. His greed for elixirs and prescriptions saved his life. But they don't know the use of the blood essence. The city lord's palace has hidden it very deep, saying that the human blood essence has other uses. In order to survive and practice in White Tiger City, these demon cultivators will not ask more questions. Zuyun took a deep breath and said, "How long has it been since this started?" Master Tianhu murmured, "It's been a long, long time." He knew that Zuyun wanted to ask if the blood of 10,000 infants had been gathered together, so he said directly, "The blood of 10,000 infants does not only require the blood of 10,000 Yuanyings, but needs to be selected based on attributes. Some Yuanying stage essence and blood are not applicable." "So," Zuyun said with murderous intent in his eyes, "almost all the people in the nascent soul stage of the mortal world will die tragically in White Tiger City." As soon as these words came out, Master Tianhu's head lowered even further.